This is my 2015 GMC Sierra 3500 HD, and I'm going to replace these OEM halogen fog lights with the Morimoto XB LED projector fogs. Alright, so first things first, let's pull out this trim ring. Now, if you look in the edge there, you'll see there's a clip. Well, there's 4 of those equally spaced out. Some of them have 3. Depending on what bumper you have, it might be easier to reach your hand out from behind to release these. But what I've found is, if you take just a little tiny scratch awl or a tiny little hook tool, you can reach in from the front, pry that tab down, and the trim pops right out. So with the trim ring out of there, if you look in, you can see that there's little ball and socket attachments. There's 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So before you start pulling on that weak plastic, grab some PB Blaster. I'm using some silicone spray, but WD-40, whatever you've got, some kind of lube, and just lube up those ball and sockets so they don't go flying or breaking apart. Once you've got it soaked, grab a hold of this sucker and pop these out of there. Once you pull the light out, you'll see that there's the electrical connector on there. Just squeeze the edge of it, pull it loose, and then grab your hook tool and grab that little rubber waterproof O-ring out of there. Use it on your new connector. 2 of the sockets stayed in there, and 1 of them is still attached to the adjuster screw on the OEM fog. You want to get these guys out of here. So reach in from the back side, push towards yourself, squeeze them together, and kind of wiggle them right out of there. This is what they look like. I need to transfer the adjuster from the old one to the new one, and that little plastic clip in there, so just unscrew it. Try to pay attention to how deep that screw is in there to begin with. I'll make the alignment process a little faster. Kind of squeeze the tab and push it out. Don't shoot it across the room like I did. Just snap it in the new one and then screw that screw down to about where it was before. Slip that O-ring back onto the factory socket, and the other plug will push it down to where it needs to be. Always give your plug a healthy dose of dielectric grease. Keep the corrosion out, keep the conductivity there. Make it last a lot longer without heating up and burning your pins. These will only snap in one way, but after you do snap them in, you need to test to make sure they work before you put it all back together, because LEDs will only function with the positive and negative aligned correctly. So if you need to, you can switch the pins out in the factory plug to make that right. Good to go. Pop these clips on from the OEM one, and then feed the wire in and snap it into place. Nice and tight. Trim ring's pretty obvious. With the headlight installed, you can see the adjuster screw in there, and I couldn't for the life of me find a good way to put a Phillips or a Torx in there and twist this little gear. So tonight I'll aim it at the garage door and sit there and lay underneath the front bumper and just give it a spin one way or the other to bring the thing up or down. A little bit of silicone spray or WD-40, whatever, will help this thing spin. Projectors focus the beam into a wide angle, and there's a cutoff where the main output of light doesn't go above a certain point. And that's really important. You won't blind other drivers, they won't be flashing you back. But more importantly, you can use the fog lights for what they're intended for, driving in the fog and snow. So you're not getting that reflection back in your face. As I lower the camera down, you'll see where the cutoff from the projectors is. And you can see that the passenger side got bright faster than the driver's side. That means that the driver's side needs to be adjusted up, or the passenger side needs to be adjusted down. Adjusting a projector beam is pretty easy. You want to make sure that both cutoffs are on a level plane. So against your garage door at night is a good place, because you've got the lines in the sections of your garage door to use as a reference, or behind your local grocery store against a cinder block concrete wall. I bought these online from the retrofitsource.com. They were about $200 shipped, and I think that's a pretty good value for what these things are.